But let's go back now and look at some basic examples. What questions do you have? So let's start with a basic function that we are very familiar with. I mean, everybody knows the input function, right? We've looked at the input function, we looked at the print function, and so on and so forth. Maybe we want to go about, start looking at how we can answer the question we had for exercise 3, right? Exercise 3 wanted us to do rock, paper, scissors game. So in this game, you wanted the computer to always choose rock. So how do we do that? Any idea?
Yeah, you want me to show what I did? I submitted to you.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Let me stop my screen. Share.
Okay.
You can go ahead and share your code, and then we can go from there. That'll be wonderful.
Okay, let me see if I can do this.
Excellent.
I'm just warning everybody. I don't want anybody to laugh. I'm
already laughing.
Go Aaron, go Aaron, go Aaron.
Again, this is the assignment that I just copied from my own.
Yes, that's very good. You just added it as a comment. Excellent.
Yes. Actually, I imported the random. I don't know if it's library or file. Random.
Yeah, that's a module. You imported the random module.
Yeah, which afterwards I thought, you know what? Maybe it's not necessary because computer is just going to give me rock. That's the only thing I need.
Exactly. Yes.
Which is okay. So again, I assigned what I want the computer to generate to computer choice.
Yeah.
And then I asked for the player's name. I wanted to count how many times the game was played.
Yeah.
And then I did all this stuff, just create more space. But this is actually where I started. User option, choose the following options: 1 for rock, 2 for paper, 3 for scissors, and this one to quit the game.
There you go.
And then I generated my random stuff again, which I could have just, because it's just one option, right? So, but it's good. Yeah. So I think with this right now, if I have to expand to all the 3 outputs, I'll just put a comma here, and then I add those other ones so that the computer can generate rock, scissors, and paper as well.
Exactly. Right. That's right.
Yeah. So I said while user option is not equals to this one, which is to quit the program.
Yeah.
I start to count how many times the player is playing, and then I compare the computer option to the user option, and then I print out the logical statement right here.
There you go.
Right? So I use the elif statement for all the possible outcomes. And then if you enter anything that is not an option, it tells you invalid, and then it gives you that. And then I use this one to stop my program from getting into an infinite loop.
Okay.
Because I'm using the while option loop here. So I use that to stop it. And then once I exit the while loop, I print thank you for your participation. And then I print number of times that game was played.
Excellent.
And then I stop. So when I run this stuff here, hopefully I don't have an error right now that everybody's looking at me. Okay, so it says, now, just want to call out why I was really struggling. And I got this very late in the night yesterday. I was saying that this option is equal to 2. And then I realized that the input here was coming in as a string. So this thing was always giving me, some weird outcome.
Yeah, that's right.
So I did that. So when I do this, if I choose number 2, it tells me, oh, wait. Let me pull this one up. Let me see if this thing is working. Okay, so I will run it again. If I pull, oh, wait. Okay, I'll start it again now, and then we should be good. Just want to clear everything. For some reason, I can use clear now, so I didn't know about this stuff.
Yes, you can use clear.
So it says, what is your name? I'm going to use Fabian. He's on fire. It says, welcome. Let's get started. Enter your option. Number 2, it tells me that, again, the computer is generating just rock, right?
Yes.
And option number 2 is paper. So pair the outcome there. Paper wins. Therefore, Fabian is the winner.
Excellent.
If I do 3, it tells me, again, computer generates rock, scissors, pair the option. The computer is a winner. And then if I'm done, I'm tired, I want to go home, do that. It tells me, thank you for your participation, Fabian. And Fabian played 2 games.
There you go. Excellent.
Yeah.
Are we in the same class?
I think we are. We are. What I'm trying to do is just to add everything that I got from day 1 to today.
Yes.
Now I have an assignment.
That is excellent. You have to keep building on it. Very good.
Yes. So I think my next thing to learn is I want to output how many games Fabian got, which is 2, and out of that, how many times he won.
I see. Very good. So
next extension.
Yeah, to do that, how do you think you're going to go about doing it?
I'm just going to count. Again, it's just counting how many times, because right now I'm using just rock. So if I have paper and how many times I have paper will give me the number of times that Fabian wins.
That's right.
Anytime I have rock, if I count that, I'm going to use a counter, just like I did with this one. It's going to give me the number of times that the computer actually won. So at the end of the day, it's going to say you played 4 games, you won 2, 50%, and the computer won 50%, something like that.
Yeah,
Just a
yeah.
simple logic, yeah.
So my first advice would be, making use of your program flow. Okay, coming up with a plan. When you have a plan, it's a lot easier for you to go ahead and debug your code and try to see what what works and what needs to be modified. So you can even use a piece of paper, pen and a paper, draw it out. Say, okay, in the beginning, I need you to enter this value, enter that value. If this value is equal to that value, do that. So then you can start having functions. You can start creating modules that do each part, just like we talked about in the flow of the program.
Yeah, that is very important. I think it's something. Again, in my normal life at work, I always do that, right?
Excellent. Yeah, so it's funny because that's the first thing I always teach in class, and people are always eager to start coding, and they're like, why do we need this? And the first time I give an assessment, everybody gets excited. You want to jump in and start coding, and then you get into trouble. You start confusing and trying to make shortcuts. But it's better to take 30 minutes. If you have 3 hours to code or 2 hours to code or 30 minutes to code, take 10 minutes and draw your plan and say, this is what I want to do. I mean, nobody builds a house without a plan. Otherwise, somebody will come tomorrow and say, you should have built 10 rooms. Another person will come tomorrow and say, you could have had a pool. You could have had a story building. At the end of the day, you will not go anywhere because you keep breaking down the house and making changes. But when you have your plan and okay, I'm building 5 rooms. This is what I'm going to do. That's what I'm not going to do. You proceed step by step and finish it out. So having a plan, let me see if, again, setting things up from the onset, say, okay, I need to follow this route and change this here and so on and so forth. I think you do it very easily. You should be fine.
Yeah. One other thing that I was challenging too is that if I like my computer choice here, if I don't put it within the list, what the selection is the string, right? It selects every single word as an outcome.
Yeah.
And then I got to learn that I have to put it within this year.
So how did you come up with line 19? How did you come up with random.choice?
So random.choice, I think let me see, let me make this to work. Give me 1 second, sorry. Random.choice, I think did I do that? Okay, because it came up when I click at the side of that function. Let me see. I was trying to see everything that function has.
Okay, so you put a period.
The random that the random has.
Yes.
As a function.
Okay, so after that line, maybe go to the next line and then type random.
Which line? This one?
Line 11.
Okay.
Yep, and then type random.
Yeah.
And then period. And now you see all the different. So that random is actually the file. In that random file, you have multiple functions.
Yes. So this is what I use.
Okay. So that choice, if you use your arrow key on your keyboard and start going down, if you press the down arrow or if you hover on top of it, it will tell you what each one of them does. So random run int, if you put your mouse on top of it, it should probably tell you what exactly that function does. I think you just need to hover it and let it sit there for a second. It should come up and tell you what exactly it does. Maybe not in your case, but okay, click on it. If you click on it and say hover on top of random.int on line 11.
What is that?
No, it's already in line 11. In the back. Yep. So click on it. And maybe put your mouse on top. There you go. So you get a random integer in a range A and B. So it's telling you what it expects as an input. It expects you to enter an integer as an input. So you can create random numbers between 2 variables, which is what I'm actually going to show you guys next, the piece of code that we want to do. So rock, paper, scissors looks like you're very good with that. Everybody should easily get that one, right? Sounds good?
Yes. I don't know about the easy piece, but yes.
Yeah, no, it looks really comfortable for everybody so far. Everybody's good with input. Now I just want to make sure I can show you how you can use a particular piece of code and make it repeatable, right?
Yeah.
That way, if it's repeatable, you can use it over and over. If you can use it for what I'm about to show you, then you'll definitely be able to use it for rock, paper, scissors as well. Does that make sense?
So can I stop sharing now?
Oh, yes, you can stop sharing. If that's fine.
Thank you for looking at this.
I can go ahead and start sharing my code. Very good job. Excellent work there. So let's see, share entire screen. All right, can you see my screen?
It's loading. Yes, now I can see it.
Okay, so very similar to what you did. This is what I had at my end for rock, paper, scissors. In this case, again, importing the random, and then your computer choice is going to randomly choose from these 3. Yeah. So rather than having number 1, 2, and 3, I just have those in there. And then I'm asking my user do you want to input rock, paper, or scissors? So if the computer's choice is the same as the user's choice,
yes,
it's a tie. Right?
Yeah.
But else, if the user's choice is rock and the computer's choice is scissors, guess what? When output, the computer had that.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we don't know what the computer gets. We need to always output print it out because it's randomly selected.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So to make sure that you want to count, let's say user wins. we can go ahead and create a bucket to hold the number of user wins.
Yeah.
If you win, right? Let's see, who wins the first time? If you have a rock and the computer has the scissors, you win, right? So if you win, you want to go ahead and say user win and add plus plus. So this just increases the number of wins.
Yeah.
Right? Also, we want to be able to use that every single time the user wins.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's horrible. Let's make a mistake. This happens to me each time I use difference of using Windows and Mac. I always have a hard time with copying and pasting. Yeah. So each time you win, we increase your number of times. And then if you lose, we don't increase it. But then we can use a loop to say, okay, run this until the user is tired or the user enters queue like you did. Sounds good?
Yeah.
So that's a simple way of doing that. Now,